Hello to everybody watching. So this is, I believe, our fourth floss tube. I should have probably did this one first, but I figured I would pop in and sort of introduce myself, introduce our Stitchees. If you have watched any of the few previous ones that we have put up, you'll see that they are just uploads of some Facebook Lives we did as a group. So the interaction is with the comments on the Facebook live group. So that is a lot of the floss tubes I will put up are going to be similar to that, where we will post it either once I can do a live on YouTube, I will, or the live on Facebook, and you'll see the interaction there. But there will also be some times where I post in here myself, or I will have some Stitchees come with me to do different things throughout the time. Right now, I've been posting some every week. It may go down to every 2 weeks or every month, depending on the topics and what the Stitchees feel like doing to join me in these, because I do want them to be of value for you if you're watching as you're cross-stitching, but at the same time I want us to have fun as Stitchees recording them. I don't want it to be a job of just posting content. I just want to be able to bring some of the fun our Stitchees have out to the rest of the universe. So today what I thought I would do is just go over what my Stitchees are and what is included in being a Stitchee, and a little glimpse into our Stitch Hub, which is our own little secret Stitchee spot on the internet that the Stitchees can log into to get all of their goodies. So if you're watching this just after this has been uploaded, our Stitchee membership does open on the 8th of September at 9 a.m. Eastern. So this kind of gives you a little bit more information to help you decide if you'd like to join us or not. So we do open at 9 a.m. on the 8th. And the reason I keep repeating the date is because enrollment is limited. There is approximately 100 spaces left. So once those spaces are full, I do close down, and we will not open again until I have at least maybe 10 or 20 spaces available, because I don't want to open for one or two and have a lot of people disappointed that they don't make it. So it won't be again until, we have, say, 20 spaces. And even then, it's only still twice a year that I open the doors to our Stitchee membership. The reason that I limit enrollment is because I like to get to know everybody that is in the Stitchee Collective. I want to be able to know kind of what people like, what they don't, and just chat with them myself. If somebody sends an email, it's me emailing back to help, not an admin assistant I hire here or there who doesn't cross stitch or doesn't know you guys. I just really try to make it as personalized as I can. And those that do help me, I do have a few modmins, as I call them, which is Shauna and Ashley. They help with more of the Facebook side of things, but still, they are both Stitchees. They are both in the group. They know everybody. So I want to keep it in that sort of atmosphere. I try not to. I don't want to become a Fortune 500 cross-stitch company, and I don't want my Stitchees to become numbers. So the enrollment is limited. We'll have once we close the doors and we're full, we'll have approximately 500 Stitchees at most. And then, like I said, what'll happen is that I understand sometimes people will leave because life throws lemons at us, and we, have to cut some expenses, and I never hold that against anybody. And once those spaces do come, so say there is by January, I have space for 20 people. Then when March comes around, because I only open the doors in March and September, when March comes around, I'll open maybe for 20 people. Or if I don't, at that time we're, jiving really good with the way we are, I may not even open until September, and I'll wait because I just want to keep this group very tight-knit. And when it comes to the spaces available, our Stitchee Lights, which is kind of like our budget version. It gives you a couple different stitch-alongs a year and some other little perks for those that can't afford to be a full Stitchee or who are waiting to become a full Stitchee. So you can obviously stay a Stitchee Light for your whole life. If that's what works best for your budget, that's fine. But for those that are waiting to become a Stitchee, if you become a Stitchee Light first, you get 2 days early access. So September 6th, they will be able to claim the first spots. And then when spots become available outside of that March and September number, or date, sorry, the Stitchee Lights, I will maybe in January, if I see that I have space for 5 people, I'll email just my Stitchee Lights and I'll say, does anybody want to grab full status, and they can come in. So that's kind of like the waiting room for Stitchees when we are full. So that's kind of why that came out this spring, to kind of, first of all, give those that can't afford to be a Stitchee some of the perks that are included in being a Stitchee. So it's kind of like a, well, I know you can't jump in full force to the Stitchee membership, but here's something to kind of give you some of the Stitch alongs and give you, your own little group. So that is the Stitchee Lights. And then some people are joining that just to wait to become a Stitchee. So I'm excited either way. If you're a light or a full Stitchee, I love you both equally. But just so you guys understand the difference between them. So as you can see, I have my screen to this side of me. I'm going to show you some of what's in the hub and some of what's included in our Stitchee membership, so you can understand what exactly you're getting for that $32 a month. And then if you keep an eye in the Facebook group, the Free Challenge Facebook group, you'll see us. We're going to be popping up live a couple times over the next few weekends, myself with some of the Stitchees, so you can kind of get a feel for some of the people that are within this membership. So when I originally created this membership, the goal was to have a place that I can connect with other cross-stitchers around the world, because I don't have friends here who cross-stitch or understand. My husband, as wonderful as he is, doesn't get when I'm excited about cross-stitch things, because it's not something he's passionate about. And that's probably the same thing with a lot of your families, where you'll show them something and they'll say, well, why did that take you so long? Or, oh, that's cool. But somebody who cross-stitches will have a completely different understanding for either something you finish or something you're frustrated about, or if you have questions, things like that. So I thought, I'm going to make this group of people that are really, like, essentially I'm out seeking something, and I created it because I couldn't find it. So I wanted to have that group of people that I can connect with in a manner that works best for me. So as an introvert, I personally prefer typing if I'm going to be talking to somebody. But then I also understand that some people like to, face-to-face talk on video or just voice. And in the future, we will do real meetups as well, once I can, get everybody together into some places closer together. But this essentially, my original mission of the Stitchee Collective was to create a space that cross-stitchers can get together and feel safe about asking any questions they have, any frustrations, or any, if they need inspiration or they just need motivation. Just a place that you can gather, kind of like a mastermind or a hive mind kind of thing, and at the same time provide some really fun patterns, some trainings for people that are newer or haven't, I've been cross-stitching for 20, 30 years, and there's still things I'm learning. So it's kind of just a full rounded resource of all the things that you'll want to find on the internet without having to Google and go through 300 different pages to find things. So that was the original goal. We've been open for 4 years, and it has morphed into even more than I had desired in the first place. And I have found over 400 at this point different Stitchees who are so similar to me in a lot of ways, but still so different. But we connect extremely well, and it's just a very positive, very uplifting group of people. Like, I know going on to social medias or going on to the internet can be a real downer some days, because a lot of people are very dramatic or very negative, but this group is just, I will go into my little happy places. So I will go on to Facebook, but I'll only go into the groups that I want to see. I don't want to see the news and all the bad things, and I don't want to see what everybody else is complaining about. I just want to go on and connect with people that I can relate to. And the Stitchees are an amazing group of very positive, very loving people. Like, I have sat here and gotten messages saying, I saw that so-and-so was having a bad day. Can I do this for them? Or I had somebody last year who came into some extra funds and said, hey, can I buy some planners, give them out to other Stitchees? And I'd sit here going, oh my God, these are people who barely physically never met and have, connected just through our Stitchee Collective and have turned into the most kind people for each other. And it never ceases to amaze me how wonderful the people are. So I am super excited, and you'll notice over the 2 weeks between now, which is August 26th to September 8th, you're going to hear me talk about the Stitchees a lot more than I normally do. Throughout the year, obviously, I host the free challenge all the time, and that will always stay that way. I want to be able to provide something for people, even if they can't afford to be a Stitchee, but at the same time, I am going to brag about the Stitchees because I think they're incredible people, and they have turned this membership into something even I didn't see in my long-term vision of it, and it has turned into something that is completely perfect, beyond what I had hoped. So between now and when we open our doors, you will hear me talk a lot about our Stitchee Collective, and I appreciate you allowing me to speak about them. And I want you to understand that if budgets don't allow you to become a Stitchee, that does not mean that you can't stay in the free group and enjoy the free challenges that we offer and connect with people in that group the best way you can. My Stitchees bring their kindness out to that group too, so it's still a great way to stay connected to other cross-stitchers. And then, of course, if you do have the extra dollars to spend on yourself, I'll go over just some of the things that are included in our Stitchee membership and why it is just awesome to be a Stitchee. So I'm going to just switch my screen. If you notice, I keep looking this way. I do have a second screen, so it's not that I'm not looking at you. I'm just switching screens around. So let me, nope, go this way. So our Stitchee Collective, what I'll do first is I'll just go over kind of what is included this round, because every round that may change because stitch alongs stop and go at all times. So I'll just show you what's included this round, then we'll pop over into the hub and I'll show you just some of the stuff in there. Before I do that, I know that I have had some questions in regards to some of our previous stitch alongs, like our Cutesy Express, which is a Harry Potter themed one, as well as a few others that people are really interested in grabbing. Certain ones do stay exclusive to the Stitchee Collective, so that Cutesy Express, which is the Harry Potter, actually I can pull up a picture of it. So this one here, this pattern here was a previous stitch along that we had done, and it is over at this point. It is an exclusive, excuse me, we have a furry Stitchee here who wants some love. So this pattern was a stitch along we did, and we finished off, I think, early this year or late last year. This one will always be a Stitchee exclusive pattern. It will never be up on my Etsy store or my shop on my website. It will only be for the Stitchee Collective, and it will be in the Stitchee Vault. So the Stitchee Vault is going to be a vault of patterns that are available for purchase only by our Stitchee Lights. So for those that can't afford to be a full Stitchee, but still really want some of what's included pattern-wise, there will be a vault where certain ones will be included in that vault. Not everything that is offered to the Stitchees will be in the vault for purchase. But some of them will, like this Cutesy Express one will be one that's going to be in the vault for those that can't afford to be a Stitchee and really want to get a hold of it. For those that do join us as a Stitchee, you can purchase this and it will automatically give you the entire pattern in one shot because the stitch along is over. So once you become a Stitchee, you can pop in there. Any previous stitch along or bundle or pattern that we have on our Stitchee Collective Stitch Hub, you can purchase access to. So once you purchase the access to it, it will automatically just refresh and give you the entire pattern at that time. Or if it's one that's ongoing, say something that started 9 months ago, it will give you the 9 months worth, and then it will continue going forward. So you kind of purchase that catch up, because when you become a Stitchee, everything from the day you join us onwards is included for you. So anything I start after your start date is included for you. So if, in a year down the road, I decide to do a second version of a Harry Potter one, you're included in it. Anything I do in the free group that is paid, so we just did Cutesy Friends, that one is included, things like that. So the Stitchees never have to buy any of the new stuff coming out. It is just any of the older ones that you may have to just grab access to those older ones because you weren't a Stitchee when they released. So Cutesy Express, for example. A bonus this round is that I am doing a raffle for everybody who joins us as a Stitchee this round. They're going to have a chance to win this bundle itself. So that's one of the bonuses coming out with this round. So I'll start with, we'll just go over, a lot of you may have read this page, but we'll kind of just skim through it together so you can see kind of some of the stuff that's included in becoming a Stitchee. So I will also be posting a bit more information over the next 2 weeks as well, because I do like to keep some things a surprise as we go. So there is some more fun coming, but this is the main amount of, or the main offerings that are included when you become a Stitchee this round. So I'm just going to scroll some of this. So like I said, some of you may have read this, some of you can go and read this page. I will put the link in the comments below, but it just kind of goes over what I believe a Stitchee means and some testimonials from some of our current Stitchees. The main focus of being a Stitchee to me is the community, as well as helping you stay curious as a Stitchee, stay healthy as a Stitchee, organized, stocked up, and inspired. So that's kind of all the areas. And you'll notice these little bobbin mascots that I have. Each of them represent a different category that I try to keep sort of as a mission of what I want to be able to provide as with you as a Stitchee. So we'll just scroll down. So first off, as I said, what is a Stitchee? I have kind of created a bit of a promise, just saying that you're always going to look at things positive, inspire others to stitch through encouragement, happily sharing your knowledge with your other Stitchees, and just having fun, and just understanding that there's no completely like set in stone rules when it comes to cross stitching. Everybody has a different style to do things, but there obviously are some guidelines to help you make things easier. But there is no like, oh no, you have to do it this way. Like if you want to go with your exes this way, then this way, but I want to go this way, then this way. Like as long as that X shows up at the end and they're all even if you want them to be not even, that's up to you. It is an art to me. So if you do things just a little different than me, the end result is that you had fun creating that project and you love it. That's the goal of cross stitching, is to go and be able to do something for yourself, to create something into the world, and to love it for either yourself or give it as a gift. Nobody's going to go, oh my God, those stitches aren't as neat as they should be. If you give a gift out to somebody, they're going to end up looking at it and saying, oh my God, you made this for me. And that's the point, is you put the love and time into something to give to somebody else. Or if you put it on your wall, when you look at it, you're going to say, hey, look, that is my self-care. That is my time to myself. And that's what came out of it. So not only do you get to take care of yourself and relax, you also have something at the end that you can say, hey, look what I did. So that's kind of my outlook in what the hobby is. So the collective itself is completely full of very happy, positive people. They're always inspiring each other. They're always being creative with different things. I'm seeing, questions being answered in ways that I would have never thought of. And I've learned new things from the people within. As I said, it's more of a hive mind, where everybody brings their things in. And we've kind of just made this group of very unique individuals. And they are there and they will celebrate everything, even if it's not cross-stitching related. I've had them, even if it's not something happy. So I've had people where things have happened in life and a bunch of Stitchees have sent out cards or have sent out just virtual love to people when they need it. It's just turned into a giant online family at this point. So as I had said, we're about 4 years old. So May 2019 was when I originally thought up the idea, and I had 40 incredible people jump in without having anything other than my idea in an email. So I had a group of people I emailed and I said, hey, here's my idea. I would love to have, I had said over the next 48 hours, I'm offering a lifetime membership to this idea. There was nothing in place other than what I was envisioning, and I had 40 people within probably 15 hours turn in and just email and say, I'm in. So those 40 are what I call my founders. So those are the people that have been with me from day one. well, pre-day one, and have been here the whole time and have helped me mold this into exactly what I wanted it to be. And then we opened our official doors in July of 2019 with the Stitch Hub, and we welcomed our first set of actual members at that point. And then from there on, like I said, we opened every September and every March for the last 4 years. So this is kind of a map of, this is not everybody, but this is a good chunk of, because it is virtual and they have to go and put their pins in. But this, I think, is about half of where the Stitchees are. So we do have Stitchees in many places around the world. Obviously, we're very heavy into the States and Canada, but there's a larger group in Australia and the UK as well. And we're slowly expanding out. I think last round we got our first member from Puerto Rico. And it's pretty incredible to see where everybody comes from and get to connect with people outside of your local area as well. So you learn a lot of things in and outside of stitching. So it's pretty incredible that way. So we'll go into now what is included when you become a Stitchee. So as I've said, there is our Stitch Hub. There's a tour on the page as well, but I'm gonna show you again today because things do change over time. This tour was, I think, in 2021. So there's been some changes to the hub, but overall the idea is fairly similar as to what's in there. I try to make it as user-friendly as I can. So that's our Stitch Hub. That's the private area that people you get a login. It has all your patterns. It has all the trainings that we offer, a bunch of freebies. So anything I offer out for free on my blog or in the free group is the Stitchees have it in the hub somewhere to be able to go and grab it without having to go look in 4 different places. Also included is, when I say patterns, so there's the patterns in the Stitch Hub, I divide them into 3 different main areas. So we have stitch alongs, series, and bundles. So a stitch along is small pieces of one pattern that are released over, usually it's once a month. So for, like, say, Cutesy Express, each of the characters was a different month's release. And in the end, we have one full pattern. So that's a stitch along, and that's one area of the Stitch Hub. Actually, we'll just start here. So this is the stitch alongs here. I'm doing this a little backwards, but so there's a panel, like I said, that a small amount is released. Usually the full-size image, I try to keep them between an 8x10 or an 11x14, something that is easy enough to frame up when you're done. I host between 6 and 8 of those a year. Every year, no matter what, there's a seasonal set. So a spring, a summer, a fall, and a winter. That all match, so the 4 of them match together. There is a Stitchmas, which we do for 24 days before Christmas, and there is a Stitchee Ween, which is the 31 days before Halloween we do one, and then there's usually one cutesy-inspired bigger stitch along. So that Cutesy Express, for example, right now we are doing Cutesy Who, which is a Doctor Who inspired one, and then there's random ones like, in August, we've been doing Cutesy Friends, so that is now going to be a yearly traditional one that is included as a Stitchee. If you're not a Stitchee, some of them come out paid. So these seasonals, the Stitchmas and the Stitchee Ween, and then the Cutesy Friends come out as a pay-per stitch along for anybody who doesn't want to commit to a monthly membership. But I will say that each of these put together, so Stitchee Ween is $32, Stitchmas is $32, each of the seasonals are $20. So if you start doing the math, you get a ton more by becoming a Stitchee and just paying that $32 every month, because that's 4, 5, and 6. And then Cutesy Friends is another $20, that's 7. So in terms of just all the extras you get on top of just these, can help to justify the monthly cost if that's what you need to be done. So after the stitch alongs is the series. So these are really simple, quick stitches. So they each have a theme. So they'll either be a mini, a regular, or a mega series. So the mini series are like just 30 by 30, the same as our free challenge bobbins, very tiny little patterns. The regulars are 50 by 50 stitches, and the megas, this is a typo, is 75 by 75. So a little bit bigger, but not really huge projects to add to your plate. And so these, what I do is the patterns themselves in the series come in a theme. So right now we have Cutesy Zoo, which is all animals. We have Cats and Coffee, which is cats and coffee, and I've added in some tea because some people don't drink coffee. We have the Gnome series, which is a mega, so they're a little bit bigger, but those are all just different gnomes for every occasion. We have our Zodiac series, so birth symbols and zodiacs. Each year I change the theme, but the zodiacs keep going. So far there's a full set of just cute little zodiac symbols, and this year we're doing a constellation style, so with the stars. We have our gamer series, which is just different characters from different video games of all sorts. Our word art series is just different texts that you can use for any of your projects. So it just comes with the full alphabet. You can use it as you need. And then I host random surprise mini series, which are ones that only go for, say, 4 installments or 10 installments, sort of that thing. Our regular series, I continue them until I hit about 50. So there will be 50, like our zoo is almost at that point. I think we have 44 animals in there. So once I get to 50, if I can't think of any more or I want to start something different, that one will finish off. But it gives you a lot of different choices of patterns within there. So if you're doing, say, a birth thing and you want to add a specific animal, you can go into the Cutesy Zoo, grab that animal, add it to a project that you want to add. Or if you want to make cards for 1 year, you can pop in and do the same thing. So these are just supposed to a way for you to have quick little things to do, to either add to different projects or just because you want kind of a boredom buster from a larger piece. So I know I myself am working on the stained glass piece, which is the sort of lifelong project, but I'll pop in and I'll grab one of those just to do something quick and easy to kind of break up bigger projects. So as a Stitchee, when you become a Stitchee, you get included in any new series that start, as well as we'll go over it below, but each time I open the doors, I'll add you into the existing series as well. So with this one, like for example, September 8th at 9 a.m. Eastern, you will get included into the Cutesy Zoo. You get automatic access to what's in there. So there's, I think, like I said, there's about, I think 44 we're at. Same thing with Cats and Coffee. You'll get instant access to about 22 of them. Like this is a chunk of patterns that you're getting access to right away, as well as the ones coming forward. So that's the series and the stitch alongs. And then the bundles is the third part of my kind of triangle of different patterns I offer. So these are larger patterns that are like a one piece, but they have a theme. So the bundle itself has a theme. You don't have to stitch them all together. You can stitch them all separate. You can just pick ones that you like, but it just gives a theme of things to do. So these are usually, I try to keep them like the 8x10 size, 11x14, like they're just one piece patterns for you to use. So we've had in the past, I've had a series that was all the binging favorites. So it was different shows like Friends and Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. Like there was just one pattern that kind of you can use to decorate. So these there's usually 4 bundles every year that will come out, and these will stay for about 10 to 12 months. So you get one a month that includes into it. So there's a holiday themed one. So if you want patterns for Christmas or for Halloween or for Thanksgiving, it'll have those. Every year I do a Stitchee Days, which is a calendar you can use for each month. When I go into the hub, you'll see some previews of some of these as well. And then some other fun bundles that start, like in the past, we've done some snow globes, which is our around the world one. We had a crafter bundle, which were just fun little patterns to represent some of the different crafts you could do, and the binging favorites I've mentioned. So those are the 3 styles of patterns that will always be around. And then we'll go over, so this is kind of going to be what's included with this opening on September 8th. So we've already talked about the Cutesy Express raffle. So everybody who joins, once we close the doors, I'm going to do a raffle and somebody's going to get access to that pattern. And everybody who joins also gets 300 Stitch Bucks. We'll learn about Stitch Bucks shortly. You'll get access to being able to get needle minder versions of our little mascots. And then you get a choice of a free princess pattern that are from an artist whose name is Urban Star. So those are the bonuses as you, just for signing up, and kind of my way of saying thank you for joining our little family. In terms of the patterns that are starting, so some new ones as well as some back access, so bonus access to previous ones that have started. So we have our plant series. This is starting in October, so if you join us, you would be included. So this would be a bunch of different plants. Once a month they're going to release until I can't think of plant ideas. We have our BU 2.0, so there is a first BU, and you'll see some previews as I go through the hub. But it is princessy, we'll call it. There is a preview coming for it. I've got Shauna stitching that up for me. So that starts in October as well. We have our holiday fun bundle. There's already, this has just got some samples, but there's already, I think, about 10 different patterns in there. There's more that are going to be added to it in October. Cutesy Sweets is a mini series that's going to start in September. So that's where I say that there's going to be like, so this one will have 10 releases. So it's like a short-term series. And this one's going to be for those that it's just kind of sweet tooth sort of patterns. And then in terms of bonus access to past stuff, anyone who signs up is going to have access to the zoo, which has got about 44 animals so far. You'll get access to Cats and Coffee, this is some of the patterns in there. Again, there's, I think, over 22. Our Gamer series, which started in March, you'll get included in that. The Zodiac series, which has got the constellations, you'll see a little one here, as well as the other symbol version we did. The Word Art series, so you'll have a ton of different fonts you can use. Stitchee Days 3.0, which is this year's calendar bundle. You'll have access to that. The Seasonal Memories, which is one of our paid stitch-alongs. So the spring and the summer have passed, but you'll gain access to all four included. And then the Gnome series, which we have a full year, and then this year. So I think we've got probably about 15 gnomes in there. This 2023's theme was a bit of a Disney-ish theme. So our gnomes this year have some commonalities to some Disney characters. So, and then our Cutesy Who, which is the Doctor Who stitch along, you will get access to that. So you'll have access, we started in March, you'll have access to grab what we've got out so far and going forward. And our astrology bundle is just a bunch of patterns that are kind of spacey, stars, planets sort of theme. So you'll get access to that as well. So that's kind of what's going to be included in terms of pattern-wise. And then, as I said, enrollment, I'm kind of just going down the screen. I've already talked about a lot of this, but our enrollment is limited, as I said. It's an amazing group of Stitch besties. That is completely, they have made it as awesome as it is, not just me. But I know that it, like I said, it's a full group of people who just love cross-stitching and love each other at this point. And it's a lot of fun. We have a ton of motivation and inspiration in there. Our Stitchies get some bonuses on the free challenge. If you've noticed in the Stitcho boards and the point system, they do get extra points for being a Stitchie. We also have some members only, I call them Stitchpiration now, kind of more of an inspiration thing than a challenge. So every month I will offer different things. So one month we'll say we're going to have a finish month. So as many finishes as you get so many stitch bucks. Or another month we'll go through like a whip rotation. So all of your works in progress, you're going to rotate through them one a week or something. Like, we'll have different ways to inspire you to keep making progress and have some fun with the other members. We do also offer some months we do team challenges where it's just completely based on stitch count, but really you get into a chat group with a small section of the Stitchies. And you guys all hang out together and just get to know each other a little bit closer. We have our yearly planner, which everybody knows so far because I've been talking about pre-ordering your printed version. There is the printable version and the digital version are always free for Stitchies going forward. So starting with 2024. So if you join us in September 2024, you will get the printable version, so the PDF version of our planner for free. You can still pre-order the printed version, so the physical copy. And as a Stitchie, you get a notebook for free with it and some stitch bucks and an exclusive pattern. So you do get some bonuses for pre-ordering the planner as a Stitchie. If you have pre-ordered the planner already and you become a Stitchie on September 8th, you will also get those bonuses. So because the planners haven't come, I can still put the notebooks with them. So I will reach out to those that have pre-ordered and get you to pick your notebook choices and things like that. We also offer bi-monthly Stitch Together. Sometimes they're more than bi-monthly. Like I try to get on every second month in Discord, but some of the other Stitchies host them as well. So those rooms are always open in the Discord, so they can be used at any time. So, but I try to make sure that at least once every 2 months or once a month, if I can, I will get everybody that I can together to kind of just stitch and hang out and stuff like that. We do a Secret Santa every July. So we do a Christmas in July we've tried it at Christmas, but the postman takes too long with a lot of things. So we've shifted it to July to hopefully alleviate some of the postal craziness that happens. And then we do a Christmas card exchange in December. So those that want to be included, you would put your address in and we just mail cards to each other. I have stacks of Christmas cards, and it's a lot of fun just to get some real physical happy mail, because nowadays that doesn't seem to be as common. So those are just some of the little bits of fun and stuff that we do. You have the trainings where I will host and post into the Stitch Hub different trainings throughout the year. And each of those trainings come into a different area of, so where I said those mascots, each of them kind of have a specialty, we'll call them. So we have Bobby, which is our yellow. She's our curious Stitchie, and she's obsessed with everything cross stitch and learning everything and kind of help the newbies, sort of like just all the basics you need to know about cross stitch is Bobby's domain. Stitch, which is our green little bobbin, is our stocked up Stitchie. He is about all things supplies and deals and all those extra little goodies that you didn't think you needed, but you definitely need as a cross stitcher. Needle is our organized Stitchie, all about being neat and organized, and she likes Excel sheets and trackers and printable things and stuff like that. We have our healthy Stitchie, which is Ada. She is focused on just keeping yourself balanced and harnessing the benefit of cross stitching. So we've had it where I've got suggestions for different stretches to do, meal planning. I have some ideas for the future as well in terms of just ways to make the rest of your life easier, to give you more time to cross stitch. And then we have Laguna or Lugana, whichever way I know that it is spelt wrong. That is from my day one creation of these guys, and I didn't know what Lugana was at the time, so her name is a little bit funny. But she's our inspired Stitchie, where she just takes everything to the next level. So if you want to try fabric dyeing, or if you want to try using Pattern Keeper instead of paper, there's different trainings, and when I go into the hub, you'll see some of what's already included. And then our super Stitchie, which is our main mascot, which is Flossie. She just helps me run the place. And I'm actually on September 14th having her tattooed on my arm. So my proof that my commitment to this group is eternal at this point. So those are the different areas that the trainings, some trainings are just text-based, so you could just read. Some of them I put in a PDF so you can print them if you want. Some of them are videos. Some are hosted by Stitchies instead of myself, because they're just, some people, I've got one Stitchie did how to make little stuffies, another one did how to make scissor fobs, things that I haven't done myself or haven't done enough times to do different trainings on. So that's kind of the area that helps give you some different knowledge in terms of your stitching. And then we have the rewards of being a Stitchie, which is those Stitch Bucks. I did mention you get some with the planner. You get bonus Stitch Bucks when you sign up. They're a currency within our Stitchie group that you can use to buy things in the Stitch Bucks store. So there's some patterns in there. There's some mini series that aren't included as a Stitchie. So we've done a dinosaur one and a cutesy villain one. You can use these rewards to purchase those items, as well as you can use them for small custom patterns. So if you want a cutesy style of your dog, you can use your points for that as well. One final training that we have is our toolkit. It is kind of I call it an 8-week. It's an 8-module. I don't want to say week because you don't have to finish it in 8 weeks. But it's a course to kind of get you to go through all the basics that you need as a cross stitcher. This is especially helpful for those that are newer or are just getting back into the hobby. So this is kind of a syllabus of it. So we have our introduction week. We have a getting started in terms of like getting to know the lingo, basic cross stitches, the supplies you'll need, how to get ready for a project, how to read patterns. And then there's a little stitch together within it where you will cross stitch Flossie, the pink bobbin, together in that section. And then we go into Bobby hosts a week and gives different stitch tutorials, different ways to start, how to read digital patterns, how to grid your stuff. And then Stocked Up Stitch here will go over fabric and floss and needles and holders and gadgets. Needle will go over how to organize different things. Our Healthy Stitchy Ada will go over some stretch routines, podcasts, floss tubes, different things to keep yourself mentally happy as you cross stitch. And then our Inspired Stitchy will go over hand dyeing, freehanding stuff, the sewing method, the loop start, and then we'll have a bit of a graduation at the end. And throughout, you get to gain access to patterns of each of our little bobbins as well. So there's some rewards as you finish the training as well. So that is included as soon as you join as well. We have some members swag and discount areas. So these are the little needle minders that I had mentioned. You can get the set, or you can purchase each individual one at a discount when you join. And there's also a full store of different, we have blankets and mugs and tote bags. I've got some in the work ideas for project bags. We've had some project bags in the past. And then you also always, no matter what, get a discount on my products. So you get a discount code for my Etsy store that is always it's always active for you, which I believe is 25% off. You get my needle minders, no matter what, are always reduced. So needle minders are regularly $8 each. You get them for $6. And then same thing with anything else that I come out with. Either you'll get a discount on it or you'll get a bonus with it. So like the printed planner, there's no discount on it as a Stitchee this year, but there is bonuses where you're going to get the notebook and an exclusive pattern and things like that. Our Minder Manias. So I only post up needle minders a couple times a year. And when I do them with Stitchees first. So I will go through and all the stuff I bring in, and these are things that I don't keep stocked. So it's like if I have 10 of them, that's all I'm ever going to have of them. And so we'll have a Minder Days with the Stitchees. They grab everything they want, and then the rest go public. So you get first dibs on everything that way. And then you will get a discount on any of those needle minders in the Minder Days. And you do also have the ability to say call dibs and put it in a pile. So if we have Minder Days and you just had to pay, I don't know, for car repairs and you don't have the money, but you really want those needle minders, you can claim them and you create a pile and pay it when you can. So which usually I say within 3, sometimes I've left them for 6 months. I literally take those needle minders, put them in a baggie with your name on it, and put them aside until you pay for them. So it's kind of like a layaway program. You can partially pay them as you can, and then I'll ship them once they're fully paid for, or you can just wait and pay for them, in 2 months when you can afford it, things like that. Or it would help if you do over 2 Minder Days and you put them all together and pay 1 shipping, things like that. So you get all those little perks. There are progress trackers in the hub for all of the stitch-alongs. We have our Discord server, which I mentioned we do stitch-togethers on. There is a chat side of it as well with a bunch of channels of different ways, like places you can ask questions, post finishes. I'll show you that after we go through the hub. We have our own private Facebook group as well. I try to keep us as connected as I can without giving too many options. So we have Discord for those that don't want to be on Facebook, because I know that some people find Facebook difficult to deal with at times, but we do still have the Facebook group as well. So ways to stay connected outside of the Stitch Hub, or you can connect inside of the Stitch Hub. We have our Stitchee houses. So each of our mascots have created their own little house, call it themed similar to the Harry Potter Hogwarts houses, but for cross-stitching. So we have a sorting hoop, and you do a little quiz. It will put you into a house that will give you similar stitches with other interests that are similar to you. So obviously we all have the interest of cross stitching, but it will give you, so everybody who likes more Disney type stuff will be in one house. Everybody who likes books will be in another house. There's 5. So we have our Disney sort of interest house. We have our bookworm kind of house. We have our fantasy adventure kind of house. We have our just general crafty house. And we have our horror and true crime house, because those are the main 5 hobbies outside of, or interests outside of cross stitching that most of the stitchies have in common. So that is something you don't have to commit to and you don't have to join, but another way again to connect everybody. Each house has a clubhouse. We do a stitch cup every year, where monthly I'll give you different little events that you need to do together to gain some points, and at the end of the year we will have our little award ceremony. So again, just another fun way to connect with some of the other stitchies. And then the rest of the page just goes over just some testimonials from some of our existing stitchies. Some people will ask me how they get to join on the 8th. What you're going to do is you're going to bookmark this page. So click your little star and bookmark this page, because this page will change. So anywhere you see an opening soon will swap at 9 a.m. Eastern time on September 8th to the sign-up form. So it'll ask for your information, your email, your payment method, and then after that you submit it, and you'll see some emails come through with your login and how to join everything at that point. So if you bookmark this page and you start clicking refresh on the 8th around 9 a.m., once I put it live, you can join in and become a stitchie. For those that are currently in the Stitchee Lite, you will get a different link on the 6th of a secret way to get in, because you guys have 2 days early access. So I will put a link in one of your emails. So the group that is in the Stitchee Lights, you'll see an email, as well as in your Facebook group, a link how you can sign up before the opening on the 8th. So that is some of the information included in our Stitchee opening this time. And now we'll pop over into the actual Stitch Hub. So it is part of the same thing. But once you have a login, you'll see the stuff on the side. So if you click on this page to look at the information about being a Stitchie, you won't see the sidebar on the side. Once you have your login, you'll have the sidebar on the side. So our Stitch Hub is everything that is included in a Stitchie. I try to keep it as organized. I am still trying to, make things as less techy as we can, because I know obviously it's a lot of different things and I don't want people to get too overwhelmed, but I want you to know where everything is. As I've said, I am here to help with any questions. I am the one that is checking my email and my Facebook messages and helping you through them. So if you can't find something, ask me and I'll probably just be able to give you the link, or I'll show you where it is. So when you go into the Stitch Hub, you'll see a What's New section. This I just kind of use to, like right now it's talking about the planner because that's the biggest news at this point. And there's a link to our What's New section. Each week, all of the releases that are available for that week come out on the Monday. And on that Monday, I will send out an email to remind you that this week's releases are, and I'll show you what released this week, and I'll show you the link so this link here will show you the Stitchie news. So it's what released this week. So this would have been last Monday. It shows the different patterns that came out, just some other news that I want to give, and then in behind the scenes of things that I'm either working on or thinking about or want some feedback on, that sort of thing. And then it will do, this is supposed to say last week. This would be what came out the week before. So if you missed a week, you can check the last 2 weeks of what has been happening. So it's just a quick spot to check because there's so much different information in the hub. It's a quick spot to see the newest things. And And then on the side here, again, I've got another link to the what's new, just again, so that people, this is a newer concept for us. It used to be set up a bit different, so I've got it in a couple spots to remind people for now. And then it has your stitch bucks. How many stitch bucks? I don't have any. So this would be your stitch bucks. It'll show you how many you have, and then your stitch count. This is a place for you to keep track. So there's a little pencil. You can go in and change your stitches for the month. And then mine doesn't want to do it because mine's an admin account, but you would go in and change your information here to keep track of it. So when there's months that the challenge or we have some sort of little event and I need to know what your stitch count is, I'll pull it out of here and then I will go through at the beginning of the month and reset it. Once I have the information I need, if I needed it that month, or if I don't, usually around the 3rd or 4th of the month, I will reset the counts and you can refill them in. Keep like a running tally of your month. So that's the main page, and then it's broken down into the what's new section, which I just showed you is the last 2 weeks of what's new. The welcome start here just gives some information once you join as a Stitchee. I'm not going to scroll down because there's some coupon codes and different things in there. Our clubhouses, this is where you would go to get into the clubhouse for each. So we have our staff house, which is some Stitchies are helping me keep track of things. We have Diamant, we have Flock, we have Colaris, Satin, and A12, which are the 5 clubs. The sorting ceremony, which is where our sorting hoop comes in for you, she will help you pick. It just shows some different house traits and things like that, and then you can go through and do the actual quiz and find out which house you belong to. If for some reason the house that gets picked in the quiz you don't feel the complete jive with, you can message me and I will swap you to whatever house you want to be in. This is just a fun way to see if our sorting hoop gets it right. Our Stitchee calendar is a shared Google calendar that shows all of the releases each Monday. So you know what came out that week, so you can make sure to keep track of if you need a specific pattern. This you can save onto your phone. If there's stitch togethers or different things happening, then I will see we have our new Stitchies are being included here. Stitchee Ween, this is a reminder that it happens every day for October. Different things will be in here as well. Our Stitchee map, this is where you would add your little baton to our group of Stitchies. So, and then if you were to zoom in, we'll go find me. So this one's me. You can click on it and it'll say who is where. So it'll tell you, okay, well, Jennifer's in. So if you're somewhere specific, you can, zoom in and see how close other Stitchies are to you. So if you do want to connect in the real world or, anything like that, you're welcome to. Obviously at your, that's completely up to you. It's not something required. And then we have our stitch-alongs, our series, and our bundles. So those are those patterns that I had mentioned. Currently for stitch-alongs, we have Cutesy Friends, which is going on. The Summer Memories just ended. Cutesy Who has, so this is the one where you're going to gain access to, so far we have 4 doctors in it, which are on these little bases. And then Let's Play a Game just finished. This is one that you'd be able to purchase the finished product of. So this is the full pattern. You'd be able to pop in and grab it for an extra cost because it is a past one. Our series, this is where you will gain access to the zoo, the Cats and Coffee, our gnomes. Some of the mini series that you see, like the Wizard of Oz one and the Nerds one, are past ones, but you will be able to go in and purchase those. So like if I go into the zoo, for example, just to show you some of the stuff you have, you go in and you have all these different animals that you can go through and pick which you would like to stitch up. So same with the Cats and Coffee, just kind of cute little, I stick to a lot of my cutesy sort of style because that's just what I have fun doing. And we have our gnomes who have turned into kind of Disney-ish this year. The Gamer is a newer one, so there's not quite as many yet, but we're working through adding more of those. And then, like I said, there's going to be, so if you go to the all series, you'll see any past ones. So these are always the current ones that you would get included. And then our mini series, we have Oz, we have a mythology one that was in the past. I'm just kind of scrolling through so you can see. So we had a horror one we did last year. There was a labyrinth one. So these, if you wouldn't have access to, but you would go through and you would just purchase. Some of them I think are $17, some of them are $21. Once you make the payment for it, it would pop in and show you the way mine looks right now. We did a snowman one, just cute different snowmen. We had supervillain or superheroes, different things like that. So a couple of these happen a year. And then the bundles, you would have our current ones, which is the astrology, Stitchee Days, and then some of these past ones you'd be able to get access to. So we have like this year's Stitchee Days is included in your membership. You'd have access right to, at that point, September, because September will come out before then, with the little owls. The astrology bundle has a couple patterns. Again, like I said, these can be done individually, or you can make a full thing if you want to get creative in putting them together. Some of our past ones are, we'll have this one, which is our snow globe series. We had a fairy one, which uses Jasmine Beckett Griffith's fairies. I did them in a small sort of version. So we have those. We have done the binging one, which I mentioned earlier, with different TV shows. These ones are available individually on Etsy, but as a Stitchee, you'd be able to purchase the entire bundle for a lot cheaper than you would to do them all. So if there's more than one you like, it's better just to buy the bundles than to go on my Etsy store and buy just one of each. So same thing, this is the crafty kind of ones. So different crafts you like if you want to decorate your craft room. And the holiday fun one, you will get access to the ones here currently. So there's kind of every holiday, and we're going to start a new set later into October, I think it is, where I'll add some new stuff as well. The training has each of the different areas as well as the toolkits. So if you go into the cross stitch training section, you can do the toolkit itself. This I have just different video tutorials that I've put up. You'll have all of the different trainings. You can learn to stitch in hand, how to wash your projects, how to work with waste canvas. We have setting up a stitchy spot, gridding your fabric, comparing different flosses to each other, using stands versus hoops, stitching with ADHD, creating yearly keepsakes. We have our Pass the Nerd tutorial, which is kind of a random act of kindness mission. How to pair your fabrics with certain patterns using metallic floss, and then there's a checklist at the bottom that you can keep track of how many of them you've gone through in terms of training. And then we have a printables and freebies section, which will have all of the Stitch It bundles. So those are those little tiny dollar bundles that I offer to get you some of your Stitch-O squares. Those are all included in the Stitch Hub for Stitchies, so you don't have to worry about purchasing those. You have your mini bobbins from this year, so that's the 2023. We had 2022 as well, for those that were with us during 2022. There's a tracker to help you keep track of what releases come out when for Stitchies. There's a little resource book of just different, places you can buy things and stuff. The Stitchee anniversary is every time you hit 1 year, you get a new little badge. So it's a pattern that you can create into a badge to show kind of how long you've been a Stitchee. We have a cheat sheet for discontinued stuff. We have a cheat sheet for the hub and our success hoop, which is just kind of sort of my mission of what I hope that you can learn being a Stitchee. And then in terms of printables, you have your planner that's every year. The patterns from the planner are offered out in PDF for you to use with Pattern Keeper. The challenge PDFs are in here. There's a blank monthly tracker. There's blank project trackers, coloring pages, bullet journal pages, different things like that. We do a temperature project every year. So I offer a different style that you can use to do a temperature project. There's backstitching cheat sheets and patterns. There's wall art that you can print and decorate with. And then there's any free as I said, any free pattern I offer online in the group, in the free group, or on my blog is here. So I know on my blog I have a thing that has a bunch of free patterns. These are there. During COVID, I offered out a really large pattern for free. It's here. We had a bunch of tech problems, so there's a tech gremlin. If it's pops up free in my world, it goes in here for the Stitchies. Every Christmas, there's usually something that comes out. and all kinds of different things throughout the year. This year, because our 4th year, we got our crease and hula mascot patterns. The Stitchee store is some of our past bundles. Like this is our first, this is a stitch along I had done prior to the Stitchee Collective called the Magical Stitch Along. I have a couple of the patterns here, but they'll be able to, each of them will be here, or you can purchase the full set. The Urban Star Princess series, you'll be able to pick one of these for free, but they're all here at a Stitchee price. So Stitchees pay $10 versus the $17 that they are on Etsy. And then our members swag. So we have tumblers, we have mugs, pillows, stickers, our bobbins, that kind of stuff can all be purchased here. There is much more. I have a phone case that's coming out. Our blanket here is on here. And there's a new tank top that I need to add in, stuff like that. And then the Stitch Buck store, which is your reward currency. You'll be able to go into the store and you can buy a custom pattern. You can join the dinosaur series, which is actually completed. So if you cash in for it, you would get full access to all 10. Same with the villain series. So there's just 10 little villains, as well as some patterns that you can purchase. These are available on my Etsy store as well. But this is a way for you to cash in with your rewards rather than paying for them on the Etsy store. So that's the Stitch Buck store. The My Accounts, you can keep your profile up to date. So you can add a picture and some information so you can get to know other Stitchees, stuff like that. And then this is also a place where you can update your payment information. Our stitch count leaderboard is just when you fill in your stitch count, it will just kind of put a leaderboard to, you know, kind of just a little fun way to see how everybody else's cross-stitching is going. And then we have a spot to just report those, as I said, tech gremlins. So if you have something you need to let me know about, we can do that as well. So that is our Stitch Hub in a nutshell. And I was going to show you our Discord as well. So our Discord has, if you look along the side, you'll see that there is spots where I post updates as well as like a general chat, introductions, your fur buddies, accountability if you want to, you know, get in touch with a buddy, if you have questions, if you have whips that you want to show off, finishes, things like that. And then non-stitching stuff, we have a spot where people talk about books. We have a spot where people talk about games or movie shows or that kind of stuff. And then we have our voice chat. So there's a common room for each of the houses as well as just a regular Stitch Together room. These are open at all times and you're welcome to chit chat in them at all times. So that is a bit of information and an hour spent talking about my Stitchees. I hope you got some cross stitching done while you listened to me. If you have any questions about becoming a Stitchee, you can add comments in the video or you can reach out to me by email or on Facebook and I'm happy to answer any questions. In the comments of this video, I will put a link to the page that you need to bookmark should you wish to become a Stitchee on September 8th at 9 a.m. Eastern. I appreciate you sitting and listening to me about our Stitchee Collective, and I really hope that I see you join us in inside the hub on September 8th. Happy stitching, and we will talk again in the next Floss Tube.